All right, welcome back. This is part two, I guess, in growing a home service business in New York City. I realized the last video cut short. I don't know what happened, but we're gonna pick off right where we left off. I'm also thinking eventually somewhere down the road, it's just gonna be in my best interest to just reveal what I'm doing, the business, the website. But until I want to get the ball rolling a little bit, and until that point, it's just getting cumbersome, kind of masking it, using this window cleaning example or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's all directly applicable, right? So it's a one-to-one connection with whatever you're doing. If you want to kind of connect the pieces together and connect the dots, I'm sure this is going to be helpful either way. For me, it's just it's just going to make my life a little bit easier. So yeah, before we get started, I want to shout out Sailor Jerry's Back. Actually, the first video left a comment, how can I connect with you? So I think the best way to connect with me is either Instagram, but I'm not really on Instagram at all. So I've set up a Discord channel for us. And whoever's interested, come into the Discord, drop questions or just connect, say hi. And I think that's a great kind of community that we can start just in Discord, right? So I'll post that. That'll be on willjoe.com. If you haven't checked it out yet, I'll kind of leave the links up here once I'm done with this video, and that way you can connect with me. And I think having a central spot like Discord for now would be great. So let's get back into it. I'm not planning on creating videos like every couple days or anything like that. I think it's just as the loop gets longer, I'm going to have to be testing stuff, and testing stuff might take a while. I'm not trying to make videos on half tested things, maybe for an update or some breakthrough or something like that. But, I'd say you could expect a video every week or so, maybe twice a week or something like that. But I'm only going to create updates where I can provide value, right? And I need to test. I need to do a lot of experimentation to find out what works so that I can kind of deliver some value in these videos, because other than that, you're just going to be watching a guy talk to the screen. So this is where we left off last time. I know the video cut off at the end, but essentially where we're at is we're trying to do some cold email marketing to reach some potential connections that would lead to some bigger jobs. Because right now, just to recap, our SEO has kind of tanked a little bit. We're trying to get the rankings back, but until that happens, we're setting up this cold email marketing system so that we can kind of directly reach who we want to reach. And in the first step of this is to buy domains. So so the first step is to buy domains here. And then the domains need to be secondary domains. So if your primary was like nycwindowcleaning.com, I would do any variation of that. And then I would set these up to redirect to your actual domain so that if anybody were to look you up through the email, it'll actually show your legitimate website, right? And then after you buy the domains, you set up email addresses, and each email address, you need the DKIM, SPF, and DMARC records set correctly. That's where we're at right now. And then after that, you need to warm up the inboxes so that you can prime the emails to actually send successfully to these people. After that, this is kind of the final steps, scraping the data and building the funnel. Those are all things that I'm working on. But today I want to talk about really high level how I set up domains, right? How I set up domains for cold email marketing. That's probably the value add that I can do for this video. So set up domains for cold email marketing. I like to use namecheap.com. There's also like porkbun, I think. If you go to porkbun.com, I think you can also buy pretty good domains here. When I say good domains, it's like how you can get these domains for cheap. Because again, these domains are not like going to be your primary branded domain, right? They're just domains that we're using to contact people from, to kind of mass email from. So go to namecheap.com, porkbun.com, and then again, buy some secondary domains. So if your domain was like NYC window cleaners again, you'd want try NYC window cleaners.com, or like shop NYC window cleaners.com, etc. Okay. And then let's say this was the primary. And typically I like to go for 10 domains. So, this might be like, you might be thinking, okay, there's not that many, let's just say that there's not that many real estate agents that we're trying to contact in New York City. That's true. But I want to contact them all within a relatively short amount of time, right? I don't want to spread this out over 6 months. I kind of want to contact them in 2 months. Also that condensed window for me is requires more domains at the same time. So I think, here, let's say like 10 domains, and just use ChatGPT to get these variations, right? I've been using like Perplexity, right? So if you use Perplexity, let's open a new Perplexity. And you could go like, if my primary domain is nycwindowcleaners.com, can you generate 10 secondary domains we can use for cold email marketing? So you get like 3 pro searches every day as of right now, and I'm heavily considering buying the pro, but that's not really what I want. That's not exactly what I'm looking for. Can you give me domains that would have NYC windowcleaners.com in it, but has a modifier like try nycwindowcleaners.com. Yeah, so here we go. So, I'm also learning how to use AI in the best way. I know like prompt engineering, you really need to be specific with your prompts, and giving examples is one of the best ways to actually get what you want. So yeah, just play around with it. But this is just the best, simplest way to get 10 domains. After you get those 10 domains, you go to Namecheap, and then you buy try nycwindowcleaners.com. I'm not going to go through every step here, but you get the idea. And then there's a promo. So you buy 10 of these, right? You buy 10 domains, and then per 10 domains, for each domain, you're going to set up 3 inboxes, 3 email addresses, 3 emails, 3 email addresses per domain. So that gives you a total of 30 emails, right? Equals 30 email, or 30 inboxes essentially. And I'm not going to get into like too much detail on like what the best, right? Like, I mean, think about it. Just use common sense, right? Like if my name is Will, you want it to be Will at nycwindowcleaners.com. Not like, hello or email at, right? You want to make it personable. The whole idea behind this is you want to be personable. You want them to actually think you're a real person reaching out, which you are. But we're just doing it on automation. So these are things to think about. But essentially, this is the whole setup process, the domain process. After this, you need to then go into your DNS settings for each domain. And then you need to set up the SPF, DKIM, and DMARC records. If you don't know what that is, again, just use Perplexity. Ask it, like, what are the SPF, DKIM, and DMARC records? So, like, where you set up your email addresses also matter. Some people can use Microsoft Office, or like Google Workspace. And the reason we're doing this is because you don't want to send like emails from @gmail.com. Yeah, I'm sure you get tons of emails from this. Like spam emails from @gmail.com, no signature, no it just looks very unprofessional, and you want to come off as professional as possible. So this is why we're doing this whole setup in the first place. It also improves deliverability. If they're seeing that these emails are coming from an actual domain name, like a .com, they're gonna give it a second look. They're gonna actually consider it being a real email from somebody who's interested in working with you. So here we go. Yeah, so Google Workspace or Microsoft Office. If you're using Google Workspace, I would say, what are the SPF, DKIM, and DMARC records for Google Workspace emails, right? And then they're going to go on the internet and find the different records, and they're going to spit out what the records are, follow the instructions, basically go to your DNS provider, which is Namecheap in this example, or Pork Bun, go to each domain and insert these different records for your each domain. Okay. And then once that's done, right, the DKIM might take like 48 hours or something to propagate. And then after that propagates, you need to insert your DMARC, which then should register with a DMARC checker. So if you go to a DMARC record checker, DMARC record checker, use one of these tools to check if your DMARC is actually working. So once that's done, that should take, that took me pretty much 5 hours yesterday, 5-6 hours yesterday. It's tedious. I wish there was a way that I could have AI automate this. There's a Claude operator right now, right? There's operator agents, right? Like Claude operator or desktop or something like that, right? Claude on desktop. So, eventually, there's going to be computer use. So eventually there's going to be operators. There's going to be AI operators that you're going to be able to train to actually just do this stuff for you. What I envision is something like this is how you create Loom videos now and you hand those Loom videos off to a VA, and that's your SOP. I think very soon that process is going to be what happens, but for AI agents. So you record a Loom video, you send it over to your AI agent, or you upload it to Claude or ChatGPT or whatever, and you give them access to your desktop, or you create a virtual environment for them, and they're going to be able to do all this for you. So although this is tedious for 30 inboxes right now, hopefully there will be easier ways to do this in the short future. But in the interim, it's a manual process. You have to do this one time for each domain, 10 domains, each email address, each inbox you need to set up. And once those are done, then we're going to use an app called smartlead.ai. Smartlead.ai. All right. So Smartlead is something, another one is instantly. Instantly.ai. So these are pretty much, I think, direct competitors. I just chose Smartlead to use last year. I found that it was pretty good. You get all the stats, and it gives you deliverability tools. So make a choice. I have a link to get you 6,000 credits for Smartlead. I'm not saying use one or the other, but Smartlead is just the one that I chose. So from Smartlead, what you can then do is set up each inbox, so 30 inboxes, to warm up email addresses. Smartlead and then you warm up the email addresses. And what warming up again means is again, you're just having each inbox sends emails to other inboxes which get replies. And what that does is it indicates to these email service providers that you're actually legitimate, that you're actually real accounts, not bots. but you really are, right? So again, to recap, I know I kind of went through this quickly, but basically the last day and a half, this is what I've done. I've won to Namecheap. I've got my secondary domains, 10 of them. I've set up each domain with a SPF DKIM DMARC record. Then I've gone ahead and created 3 email addresses for each domain. By the way, here's a pro tip here too. I compared the pricing for so if you were to just go to Google Workspace, right? I think pricing here is like, yeah. So I don't know how you get this. If you can get this promo, because this is what they showed me too. Get 50% off your first 3 months. If you can get this promo, it's definitely worth it. When I did this whole thing and then I went to checkout, it wouldn't apply the discount for me at the checkout. So basically it's $7 if you do a 1-year commitment. I personally don't need a 1-year commitment on these email accounts. Probably 4 or 5 months at the max, and then probably we're gonna shut it down. But if you don't do that, it's like $840 a month, right? On a month to month. And if you go to Namecheap, they have a reseller package where it's $6 per email address. So for the whole cost, it's like $6 times 3 times 10 domains. It's about $180, right? It's $180 a month. Again, this is why I don't want to do the year commitment. It's it's infrastructure that you're building. So for the $180 a month, we got to warm up the inboxes for 2 weeks. I want to basically send as many emails as I can in a short amount of time, so I don't have to keep paying for this infrastructure. If I had a ton of different contacts all over the United States, maybe, but for our intents and purposes, I think just in our area, it's going to be enough to do this in a 2-3 month campaign, and then we're going to evaluate the results. If at that point we think it's successful enough that we're going to continue on, we can just rinse and repeat this whole thing again anyway. So pro tip there: don't go directly to Google Workspace. Microsoft Office is the cheaper option. I've just never set it up personally with Office 365 or Microsoft Office. So you're gonna have to do your own research on that if you want to go that route. But for me, I found the cheapest way to get these inboxes right now is through Namecheap, the reseller package, 3 email addresses, $18. Times 10 is $180 a month. And then, so once that's done, again, you go to DNS setting for each domain and put in your SPF, DKIM, and DMARC records. Just perplexity it and read some information about it. It's just essentially telling these email service providers that you have the verification in place to show them that you're actually legitimate inboxes. Once that's done, then you need to go to SmartLead AI. Connect your email addresses to SmartLead. Really simple process. They have a documentation on it. And then once you've connected it, SmartLead will then warm up those emails for you, which just means that it's going to send emails back and forth to other email inboxes, and there's going to be replies, and it's going to simulate as if you are sending emails and getting replies, which is the best indicator. Or the only indicator to email service providers that you're actually a legitimate email account. All right. So that warm up is going to take about 2 weeks. So now in that time, in those 2 weeks, what we're going to do is what we're going to work on is getting our list together. And in the past, this is just my own thoughts working through it. I used something called clay.com. I don't know so the Clay was amazing. So this is a year ago, right? A year ago, Clay was amazing. I feel like now with the advent of how much AI has with how much AI has progressed, it's there's just infinitely there's a ton of other ways that we can do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at other tools. Right. So like for example, Clay, right? The process back then was we used something called Zenrose to scrape HTML websites, rip contact information, using ChatGPT, and then we had to clean data. And then initially we were using something called D7 or Outscraper, Apollo. So all these lists builders already. That's what we're using. But I'm just because we're localized, and again, the type of people that we're trying to contact may not be on LinkedIn or have Google My Business listings. So we just need to find different ways that we can kind of scrape these easily. I had VAs in the past scrape them, but the whole idea here is to start familiarizing ourselves with AI or some other tools that will make this a lot faster so we don't have to hire outside help. The idea is to have our own agentic team eventually, just handling different processes, right? So so this is basically it. If you want a video specifically on how then this is pretty easy, right? This is like pretty straightforward. If you want a video either on the DNS settings specifically or the smart lead setup and the warm up, I can create a video for that next while I'm working on getting this list together, because I think that's going to take a little bit of time. But that's where we're at. I'm pretty excited about this. Once I get the list together, then we're going to start developing the funnel. I think I have an idea of what that's going to look like. But again, warm-up's going to take 2 weeks, so we have some time for us to set all this up. But in that time, if you have any questions or anything like that, leave it in the comments, or I'll see you on Discord. Thanks for watching.